You're supposed to stand at the
Just stay where you are and shout.
You should.
Wonderful. Best voice.
Stay up
At least I
there
got a
too,
big
so
voice.
stay up there so people can see you, Mom.
Want me, because I'm too short? All right, now that I've been instructed and I think I'm in the place I'm supposed to be, I haven't a clue what these things say on here, but I'll give it my shot. Actions needed in the community. Is that where I start? Okay. How do we get other people involved? One of the things that we brought up is that business leaders need to be more involved. We're sort of preaching to the choir here in this room. We need a way to communicate back to the businesses so that they are invested in what we're all trying to do as we go forward. Does that cover that? Okay, good.
Meetings more convenient.
I'm sorry?
More convenient. Our meetings need to be more convenient.
Oh, we talk along that same line. We believe that daytime meetings such as we're having here are wonderful for us because we're here. But a lot of business people or working parents can't come to a meeting at this time of day. Perhaps we need our meetings in the evenings or on the weekends, much as we hate to give up our weekends. We talked about one of the big subjects, it sort of was keyed off of what John brought to our attention, is we need housing, and we need more diverse housing. Perhaps we need to repurpose a lot of our existing buildings into the type of housing that young people who are coming back in the community would be comfortable living in. We're seeing a lot of attrition down into Botetourt County, especially the southern end of Botetourt County where I don't live, but there's a lot of attrition in that area because they are offering the type of housing that younger people interested in coming here are looking for. We need to see that our rental properties are cleaned up and are no longer in disrepair. And in some ways, we need to reach out perhaps beyond our local government to the state government by talking to our local political representatives in order to get rules and laws that will help us locally govern and control our rental properties better. Do I have to do all three of these? No?
You did two. Now talk about success.
Successes, okay. I don't know why she didn't do this. She would have been much better. The big successes, again, keying off of what John Rhodes was saying, is when we see populations begin to increase instead of decreasing, we will have achieved the types of things that we're looking for to sustain this community and perhaps grow it into the model that we all envision it could be. And in so doing that, we will be seeing more families and professional people and our young college graduates coming here to live as opposed to going to other communities outside of our area. I think I covered most of it. There's a lot of detail we talked about, which is not all. And I did not. Thank you.
We talked about a lot of the same things that were addressed by that group also. Talked about attracting younger people to the area who say maybe work from their homes, but also talked about new homes versus transitioning to things that we have. We talked about better grocery stores because millennials do like whole foods and those kind of things that are not accessible here for them. Also, some of our seniors aren't able to get out to shop, maybe some sort of service where those things can be brought to them. And that all brings us to the better kind of transportation infrastructure to include better railway access so that you can get into and out of the area, bus service that we used to have that we no longer have. And even the train service that we have now is not dependable, and I understand that has to do with the tracks are on or something, but this area is not a priority for those kind of things. We also talked about gathering places for millennials that have Wi-Fi hotspots where you can just go have that upscale cup of coffee or just doing something like that in the evening because we don't have a lot of entertainment. And also along the transportation line, and Uber service for people that if they came into the area that they could get around, that they don't know how to get to different things, and it would be basically impossible if you didn't have a car, and sometimes you just can't find your way around. So I think that's basically what we talked about. Oh, also that communication. How do we communicate? And I know in some of the groups that I'm in, we don't have a good communication system here. Now, we have the newspaper, we have newsletters, but everybody doesn't do that. And we have a real issue here of how to communicate with different levels of people in different areas, because that has just become, I think it's a big question mark. How do you reach people? Thank you.
You know, it is difficult to reach into another population. For example, teenagers say, oh, there's nothing to do. There's nothing to do in the Highlands. Oh, I can't wait to leave. Adults are saying, there is so much to do, I don't have time. How will I get this done? I need volunteers. I need help. So in between there is a big bubble of opportunity. If we have a way where we could bring more younger people into meaningful projects, not into, okay, the first community service project, you pick it, just pound your hour in and you're done. Maybe we could figure out how to match something somebody's interested in with what needs to be done in a better way so that a person could have a good learning experience, enjoy what they're doing, and make it easier on the receiving group. You know, for example, there's nothing worse than having a group of disgruntled teenagers running off into the woods and, you know, and not wanting to volunteer. And they need the hours, we need them to help, but it's a bad match because they're not interested in being there on that project. Maybe there's something they would love, love, love to do. The difference between, you know, casual volunteering just to pound in the time and an Eagle Scout project, a huge difference when the person helps develop it, has some skin in the game, and that type of thing. In terms of pulling in from outside the community, who might be interested in the area where we need that help. You know, for example, is there a college student, Paul Lincoln-Hoker was talking about exhibit help being developed by people that want to do that kind of work. The design and build that Virginia Tech did at one point for the communities. They needed those projects, we needed their help. Those types of connections that let people come into the area and understand what a great area that it is, what opportunities that there are, and bring those special skills and get that matchup. That anything we can do for that would be great. And then reaching out, you know, to people who are looking for a reasonably priced, interesting, beautiful place to retire for the opportunities that could be there. You know, when you retire and all of a sudden all this time is gaping out in front of you, how do you find the next big thing that you're going to have passion about? Hooking into something like that would bring people in. I have a friend that volunteers at the Clifton Ford School of the Arts Garden and finds just great joy in being there every day. It's not pouring down the rain or the snow. She's out there every day of the year and gets a great deal of enjoyment out of that. So I say, kids, what are you interested in doing? How can we help you build your passion and what you are interested in? Adults and teens, how can we match you up so we can work more as a team of all ages to bring every part of the population of the Highlands along at the same time.
Thank you.
A lot of the things that you all have already talked about, one of the things that we focused on a lot at this group was the importance of marketing and how we attract more housing, a variety of housing, not just old historic homes, but affordable apartments, a variety of housing types. One of the things we talked about also was piggybacking on nearby attractions. I don't want to necessarily single out a couple of resort areas, but that are very expensive to stay at, but we could piggyback on the amenities that they offer at a more affordable staying price. A realtor's magazine that would showcase some of the area amenities in addition to the types of housing that's available in the area. Revitalizing the young professionals group so that it showcases our area's offerings and provides networking opportunities for younger folks who are oftentimes very new to the area and don't know a lot of people in the area. And one of the things that we also talked about is having sort of a united front in this promotion and not competing between the political entities, but each political entity supporting the other as strongly as they support themselves.
Great. Thank you.
So we talked a lot about small business and facades and some of the things that Mott and Pat said as well. Engagement from all different parts of the community. and that, that there's a lot of great things going on, and maybe this is our earlier conversation, but just, people don't know, what's going on at the Art Center, or what the Chamber is working on, and how do we get beyond this room into the other areas of our community, so they're involved and engaged and things like that. So that was from earlier that I think complemented everything you all were saying. And then where we landed, we talked a lot about different things, but we really focused on the facades, the small business facades in our downtowns, and the fact that some of them need attention, and based on whether the business owner is local or not available or vacant, that there's some work to be done there. And so, reinforcing some fines, thinking about that. But then towards the end of the conversation, we kind of flipped it, and it came out of a result of someone mentioning the C&O images that I guess a couple years ago a business owner put in their storefront as a way to pay homage to the railroad and the history of the community. And Nancy mentioned that some folks from California came and were stopped at the Art Center to use the restroom, saw these images, and were like, "This is awesome, what is this? What is this?" And so kind of bringing that back to life, that there is an opportunity to bring out some of these, maybe it's a mix of historic and new businesses, and that we put these big images in the storefronts as a way to help even provide some consistency, but some kind of homage back to the community and address some of the facade issues, because we could turn it into a campaign where you get selected into this program to have this image in your storefront, instead of like, hey, you need to clean up your stuff and we want to come clean your windows, which could all be part of that, but it's more of the carrot versus the stick approach. And so kind of getting creative around how we address facade issues is where we landed, and then time ran out.
Excellent. Thank you very much.
And if you notice who's sitting, the folks at my table, I didn't get to say anything during the discussion either. One of the things we discussed was senior entrepreneurial opportunities or potential. Talking about the housing that keeps this thread that's common here, I think. Talking about the possibility for seniors who have already retired, but are now looking for what they really wanted to do in life instead of what they had to do to make a living. That could maybe be promoted, and they could maybe bring youngsters along with them, whether it's woodworking and those types of things that are happening at the School of the Arts, those kind of things that generate some positive atmosphere and the things that, like Pat was saying, the younger people want to do. We also talked about senior housing, as everybody else has apparently. The smaller homes, less maintenance, the accessibility, and how do you achieve that? Where do you go to find that? We talked to, I think the real estate group talked a little bit about the Glebe and the Kindle over in Lexington. Those are, those get very pricey really fast. So how is there a potential for us to be able to take some of that market and keep people here locally? Talked about the young professionals, again, like they were talking about redoing the young professionals group. Maybe we should poll the young professionals who are working here every day but not living here and say, why not? Or maybe put it more positively, what do you love about where you are living? What is in Southern Botetourt? What is in Lexington that draws you there? And then take those comments and find out what we can do to match those and exceed those amenities that they find attractive, whatever that may be. And I think that's the gist of it. And then we got cut off.
Sorry about the cutoff. Well done in the time you had.
It was a very interesting morning and a very interesting conversation. I had 3 power women at my table, so I was cowed and quiet and took notes. But we struggled with a similar issue, and that is the data behind people who are leaving. What population studies have we done on that 5-2%? Is it older folks who just can't get around anymore and they go to the Glebe? And then Marla said she had interviewed 8 young folks who've come to work at West Rock and asked them, I don't think I'm telling stories out of school, okay, always a possibility. She sat down and had these detailed conversations with them, and to a person, all 8 of these engineers, $50,000, $60,000 job people who came to West Rock, came to Covington, came to this area to live, said that it was the outdoor amenities. It was the hiking, hunting, fishing, biking. So then that got us thinking about the outdoor marketing and where is that piece in these strategies. Then we decided Teresa Hammond needed more money. Then we decided there has to be a social media strategy, and Beth Dowdy made the observation that the Clifton Forge engagement of volunteers, the beauty of the houses that people have worked so hard to bring back to life is really a national story and ought to be marketed on social media, on Southern Living's Instagram, and get 1.5 million people. So then we started talking about where's the outdoor strategy, where's the social media strategy, and then Beth said something really smart, which isn't unusual, and I'll leave on this note because it was sort of prophetic. She said, remember that all of marketing is product, place, price, and promotion. And I think in a lot of these discussions, we rush to the promotion and the marketing part without really paying attention to the product. Where's our inventory of housing, inventory of places to stay, inventory of cool restaurants, and then we ran out of time.
Good job.